So I did go through all the levels, through the good and bad of the ice hockey. And I've seen so many things and I have many great memories, but also some bad ones. While when I was active player, I have many good memories. While I was working in a club, I have quite a few bad ones. But if I tell you a quick story, I've seen in a hockey club where people didn't do their job, they didn't do the tasks they were delegated, and they agreed to do it, and they said they've done it, but they didn't. This resulted in this club losing directly 10,000 euros, which is a lot for a club with a budget of 35,000 euros. And also, besides that, this club lost ice hours, which are funded by the city government. This meant that this club ended the senior hockey program. But on the other side, on the positive side, I've seen nice things, amazing things. I've seen people with skills, creativity, and hard work do amazing things with zero budget. So when we will have these marketing workshops, perhaps we will present some of the cases, what can be achieved with some hard work. And now, linking back to the purpose of the good governance, we will go through some of the good governance principles and show the results of the audit made by IIHF and what this actually means. Clarity of purpose and objectives. This is a thing Tomáš presented as very, very crucial. You need to have a goal. You need to have a net to know where to score. And mostly the audit found out that these goals weren't clearly defined. The organizations didn't have mission statements well done. You've seen the great one from the New Zealand Ice Hockey Federation. Linked to that, mission and vision, there is quite a bit deficit in looking at short-term as well as long-term objectives. And what do these vision and mission mean for organizations such as a club, federation, or a group of friends? It helps you to align your activities and your resources into direction that will lead you to achieving the goal. On the other hand, planning. Planning is very common in business. They do it all the time. Governments do it. Everyone does it, but it's not so common in ice hockey. This translates in practice in reactive management. If you're not having your roadmap defined, you are under influence of the outer external factors which push you all around. You don't know where to turn, what to do next, but if you have a goal and a roadmap, it's easier to follow into the right direction where you want to go. And also, the negative effect of not planning in long term, working on just the season-to-season basis, surviving on the short term, which is a case of our federations, it minimizes your focus on development. You just do the easy tasks, the not challenging one, the ones that don't get opposition. You take the easy decisions, although the hard ones should be made, but they're too hard. Codes of ethics. Matej talked a lot about the ethics. In this region, we haven't put much emphasis on setting them up or implementing them. But what do these codes of ethics mean? They provide guidelines. Guidelines how to act, how to react, how to be in a relationship with all the stakeholders and between players and coach against the players, coach against officials, and also the managers. A commitment from relevant stakeholders. I don't know, these are perhaps old numbers, but I don't know they have changed much. It amazes me that in this region we have only 3 full-time employees working in ice hockey. We have part-time federation employees, and all the best words to all volunteers putting their free time to work in ice hockey and develop. And here we come to one of the problems, lack of compensation for their work while relying on volunteering for key positions. This leaves opportunity for opportunism and putting personal interests in front of the best interests of sport. This is a lot what Matej talked about. Education and development of all personnel. Coach education problem, game official education problem, it is there, it could be better. We have some programs for off-ice officials. We have 0 programs for administrators and leaders. And I think the lack of marketing, promotional strategy, and individuals doing the marketing is also the consequence of not having leadership development programs, because a good leader needs to be aware that marketing helps to bring the fans and helps fans to open their wallets to buy jerseys, tickets, come to the games. So this is another issue we have. So risk management. Sports bodies should adopt effective risk management arrangements and measures. This is well shown. Perhaps this is an indicator that not enough effort has been made to mitigate or lower the risk when it comes to injuries, when it comes to having medical officer and medical programs. Not to mention 0 points achieved in health education program. On another note, only 13% of federations have an abuse and harassment policy outlined. We've seen a nice example. Perhaps you in your own organizations, you should look at it and adopt some of that into your bylaws, or making some sort of documents for your own purposes. Key performance indicators. KPI, a very frequent word used in business. The most important KPI in business is profit or revenue, perhaps. But in ice hockey, it's the number of players in the system. And after seeing these results, we scored on average only half of the available points in these aspects. This gave me an impression when I was doing this analysis that not the infrastructure and neither the process enables you to monitor these numbers efficiently. Perhaps just one thought, my idea would be to implement 2 moments before the season and after the season to collect the numbers, and also try to do the exit interviews for people who leave hockey, who stop playing hockey. This is where you learn where the problems are, where the obstacles are, and perhaps try to address them in your future actions you're taking to build your hockey in your country. And there are also other KPIs which will be presented to you in the workshops, and Tomasz will gladly present you and tell you more about them. Inclusivity and youth engagement. All of us experience low number of female players and inclusion of female representatives in governing bodies, but I'm very pleased to see you ladies here participating in ice hockey, which used to be a men's sport, but now with IIHF also promoting the women's hockey. I find it really good, very, very interesting. So hopefully we continue in that direction. When it comes to youth, there is no inclusion of youth representative in decision making, or at least into a consulting process. It does not exist. But on the other hand, if we think about it, these are the people that might become future managers in sport, that they will take in 20 years your place perhaps, and where they can get better experience than directly by being directly involved in your processes. Perhaps just as bystander, just looking at the processes, learning, taking your experience, and perhaps use that, to help you. Consequences. We have quite a few examples. I think I have a table of 20 in the presentation or in the application we did for the European Union. But this is how the negative spiral starts. Lack of vision and mission. It transforms into lack of focus. If you're not focused, you inefficiently use your resources. You spend where you don't have to, but you don't spend where you have to, where spending would bring you closer to your goals. On the other side, it means ineffective management. And also, it's much easier to join your clubs and people around you around one common vision that you should perhaps develop in cooperation directly with them, because then they will adopt it. It will be their vision. You have to find a consensus about that. I mentioned with lack of focus, important challenges are overlooked, avoided. You tend to overspend and you tend to focus on short-term, easy decisions that will just get you through the season. We're coming back. Short-term focus. This means you're not taking enough effort to monitor the risks. If you don't monitor the risks, bad things can happen and you're not even aware about them. They can happen, and when you discover them, it's too late. And this means, again, you have to react to situations in front of you, while it would be much better to early discover the issues and respond properly in direction where you want to take your organization. This translates to low resilience to changes in the environment. Law changes, political changes, losing sponsors. If you monitor the KPIs, you plan your risk, you manage your risks well. You know it can happen, but you always have a backup plan. So this is a proactive management. You tend to fall into financial instability because of that, and your development is slower than it should be. Codes of conduct. A lot has been said about it. Tomorrow you will have a chance to develop your own. Without codes of conduct, people tend to accept unacceptable member behavior, which is not okay. People will like the rules if they're not written, but if they're not written, we don't know where to go, what to follow. So we need some rules to operate. It's easier for us. Without codes of conduct, I'm not saying that having a code of conduct in my own club would help the club stay afloat, but perhaps it would just give this guy who made this mistake make more aware what his role is and what he has to do, and be more aware of his responsibilities. So on the other hand, without players' games of conduct, the incidents in games are perhaps more frequent, which results in more injuries. And more injuries means lower reputation for the sport, which is very, very important for the parents who decide into which sport they will put their kid. No clear organizational structure. This means loose management agreement. This means everyone doing everything. So with everyone doing everything, we lose ability to control and to monitor what anyone did. They always have. It's easy to find excuses for not doing the work when you don't have clear arrangements who is responsible for what. So this is very, very important. And again, this leads us to people exceeding powers, doing things that they shouldn't do, and avoiding things they should do. This, of course, means also efficient use of resources, which is time. Time is very important for the volunteers. So if they are there, make sure they know what they're doing and that they do it. Turning back again, the spiral, limited resources. This transforms into lack of compensation for managers. So you're not able to hold someone by the neck and tell him, hey, you should do this work, I pay you. You can't say that. He's a volunteer. You have to be happy that he's there at least doing some part of the work. So this is where some compensation might help. With this, you also have less motivated enable staff who neglect development, take easy decisions, and we're around again. Also, the lack or limited resources, it means that not enough money is available for development programs. This, as we've been through it yesterday, this means not good enough coach development programs with not good enough coaches. You're not able to bring the talent in, retain the talent, and make the best use of that talent. Not use, but actually helping them reach their highest potentials. KPI monitoring. This means lower risk awareness and lower accountability. If there is no number that should be reached, and if you're not monitoring where you are, it's impossible to say to someone you didn't do your job because you don't know what was his job, what was his goal at the end. So this leads us to a series of complications. Again, ineffective management, lower resilience to outer external factors. Low inclusivity of members at all levels. Limited pool at sport organization managers, limited talent pool with players, limited talent pool with coaches, and also with game officials. You need to have some type of competition between them in order to help them push each other to the next level. So if you're not able to include new members or help them to get into your system, you're losing this competition part. Without having included the young managers, people who want to work at the federations, you get people who are in their positions for 30 years, nothing changes, always easy decisions, no new practices, no new approaches, no need to change because it's fine how it is. So I'm happy to see guys from Macedonia which are really young and will push it harder. I'm thinking of you, Ljubče. You're the young guy. Youngest one. Okay. Do you agree to these consequences, how they link with each other and how they are connected? Do you agree that management is crucial in development of the hockey ecosystem or any sport ecosystem? Agree? I was hoping some confrontations. Okay, let's see how. Where can manager have his influence? This is my thesis. That everything comes down from the management, and there is a saying that if you want to kill a snake, you have to cut the head. So the head is most important. You will get the PowerPoint. Please do, if you look at anything, just look at this model, and you will get a good impression how everything is really, really connected. We've been through the circle of consequences yesterday, but if you pick any line of the green ones, I can help you answer why Is it so? Stefan, pick an arrow. Which?
Fan support.
Fan support. Okay. Fan support, for manager, it's important to understand the aspect of marketing. He has to know, has this knowledge himself or herself, or he has to have people who are able to do the marketing. So with good people in marketing and good skills, you're able to generate interest. There are so many free tools available online, so many channels you can use that cost nothing. We use them for the project, that you can generate some interest and bring the fans to the game.
I also think that the fans are the main marketing for export.
Yeah, they are. They are. But you mustn't forget that fans can also be parents, fans can also be players, so they play a lot of, fans come in a lot of forms. Anyone dare to pick another arrow? Media support is the same. I will give you one example. With zero cost, you can connect a game. You choose a game in your calendar. You link it to the charity event. You actually collect the money, some of the money you give it as a donation. But when you're linked to some charity, you are able to get pretty much better response from the media to include you in their newspapers.
I think from all these arrows, the most hard one is sponsors for management.
Yeah. One thing is, if the manager is well connected, he's able to get the sponsors directly. But if he's not, he can try all the other arrows and build the organization, and then the sponsors would be more interested. Yeah, exactly. Media support is crucial to get the sponsors and fans. So to get the fans and the media, you need proper marketing, you need good competition. For good competition, you know what you need. Good players, good coaches. Everything is connected. Aku?
Not disagreeing at all.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you want to talk through that, why you have it in the order that education programs, coaching staff, then youth programs, then recruitment?
Why is it in this?
Yeah.
Okay, education programs are important to develop coaching staff. I'm not just talking about developing sport skills or capabilities of coaches to develop athletes in sport term, but also they need to have knowledge and need to know how to speak with parents, with children. Children have to have fun at the end. Coach should be educated, especially with the younger generation. That's my opinion again, to be able to make the hockey fun. And this is the reason why the kids are coming back in most cases. If the parents don't find another sport where they see their son or daughter as a world champion. So afterwards, with good coaches, they're able to retain the players they get in, and they can help with good education, with good coaches. You can get better and safer youth programs. By safer, I mean there are not so many injuries, because injuries, again, with mothers sometimes afraid that their kid will get injured because hockey is supposed to be a very violent game. On the other hand, good program for youth can help develop talent and help them reach better potential.
It's really good because it's a little bit like opening a restaurant. So if you're just focusing on recruitment, they don't have too many players, they go, okay, we got to recruit. But then they're not ready with coaches. So actually you manage to get the players from the side.
Yeah.
So let's say you did that part well, and you're lucky that they came. You have nothing to offer. Meaning you open the restaurant and you get the customers to show up, but you don't have a chef or any food.
You just serve free drinks and help them to have fun. And then gradually on the other side, you try to develop the coaching skills. So, you know, when you grow or improve any area, it will push the other one. So this is the positive spiral we were talking about. Anyone else? Did I finish your governmental support? Okay, this one is a hard one. But again, it's similar to sponsors. If you have a huge fan base, if you have a local community that wants to play ice hockey, they will push immense pressure on the mayor to find a way just to rent a small ice rink for perhaps 3 months. And also, a good manager should be able to communicate, to be in good relationship with the mayors and the city governments. As Tomáš mentioned, these communities are very important. And also he has to, basically he has to entertain them. He has to be in good relationship, invite them to the games, present perhaps the development or plans for ice hockey, present the plans how they will make ice hockey program in that local community work. But it's very hard because in Slovenia hockey is not top priority amongst politicians, I guess. But it can be done. Much can be done just by having, but it takes usually a lot of time. Anyone else? Youth programs. Okay, first thing, indirectly, management can allocate resources to develop coaches who can provide better youth programs. On the other hand, management can directly affect youth programs by helping with better recruitment strategies and promotions, with more people getting into the youth programs. They will push the coach to try harder, and they will push the club to try harder because it will be more people involved. It's hard to manage everybody, but it starts to become more serious business when we come to bigger numbers. And also, just position yourself into shoes of a manager of ice hockey club with 10 children or 60 children, with 20 parents or 120 parents standing behind your neck. It's different. You start to feel, if you're from the right material, you start to feel the responsibility, you as a manager. So they push you back to perform. Okay? Go ahead.
I think it's not all about money, but a lot is about money. Have you ever thought that to outsource the acquisition of sponsors? So for instance, in Austria, we did it, and this was a quite good decision. Is there any possibility in your countries to source this out with professional organization?
Yeah, I think it is possible, but at our level it's mostly informed that we find a person with good connections and some marketing and good skills that he can work for a good provision. That's a chance, but it's not a chance to get a good marketing, advertising agency on board. But it would be fantastic if we were able to attract someone like that. I think everyone would like to have that. But they're not interested because we're a bit too small. But if you link to charity, charity is great. I'm not saying that you should use charity. You should actually give the money and provide proof that you've given the money to the charity and to the good cause. You should do that always, but it really helps with getting sponsors on board, and also the media on board, and also the fans on board. Anyone left? Okay. Conclusions. Everything is connected. Oh, I've told it so many times during these 2 days. I'm repeating, but it really is. And make sure you understand that your decisions as managers have these consequences, not just what you see, but also many steps ahead. So this is my advice to you to keep in mind. And a negative spiral can certainly be turned into a positive one. And I've seen it with my own eyes, that with skills, knowledge, creativity, and a lot of hard work, amazing things can really happen in sport. So I'm really happy to have all of you here listening. I'm on the other side, I'm a bit not disappointed, but I think that presentations, as we heard them today, are topics, there were some principles presented that anyone could benefit from them. And this is why we're actually recording it, so we'll put it on YouTube to give a chance to others to see it.
I have one question. Macedonian situation. For a manager in Macedonia, how does he cope with 2 months of ice? After that, how can he keep the kids on?
It's very hard situation in Macedonia.
You can only see a little bit of progress, and when you start doing progress, it stops everything.
Yeah.
After that, we have 8 months or maybe more.
Listen, perhaps Chert up there, he also works as a tennis coach. He has this private school for tennis, and I think it's a great case perhaps for you to consider. So basically, the best time to play tennis is summer. Inside, it's usually bad lights, bad floor, not very good tennis experience. So during the winter time, he rents the gym from the school, and he brings the kids there to do the tennis lessons. But they don't just do tennis lessons. They play football. It's more or less active spending of time. So you can perhaps look into options to make these 2 months, you only have 2 months on ice, but perhaps 2 months before and 2 months afterwards, you can have a program that is fun for everyone. Perhaps you can rent a gym. It's easier, it's cheaper, and if it's next to the school, you're able to get the kids immediately after the school, so parents don't have to worry until 4 o'clock for them, which is also a good thing for parents. So this is perhaps one like what I would try, perhaps, and with some floorball sticks, and you can make them linked to hockey, even though they're not on the ice actually playing hockey all the time.
We don't have support from other schools, we asked many schools to lend us the
Gym.
sports hall.
Yeah.
Play football, basketball, to let us play floorball.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let us,
No?
not one school.
Who makes the decision what is allowed and or what not?
The director of the school. They say they will ruin the floor, they say something like that.
Try it, yeah. It's hard. Try to find.
We can do so much.
Yeah, I know. It's very, very complicated situation, but
They don't want to talk anything about hockey. They're not interested at all. They say, we have hockey? Where?
you have to do some work with entertaining these guys, these politicians. You have to invite them for the games. Do you invite them for the games? And it's a hard task and a long one, but it can be done. Be creative. Your best thing would be the politician's son, get him excited about ice hockey. That would be the short way. They don't? Then you should make their girlfriends excited about hockey. I don't know, but be creative. Try to get them involved. Yeah.
Never stopped. Maybe 1 or 2 years they had problems, but actually they had hockey all the time. And now we are starting from basically zero. We have 25 years late.
I understand. Perhaps it's another chance to try is organize a game for company representatives. Invite them to play hockey with you or with your national team or against each other. Make them excited. It's an example that Hungarian Ice Hockey Federation, they presented it one of the events. They organized this exhibition match between directors of the local companies, and they were so excited that they were asking, when is the next game? When is the next game? We want to play. So they actually bought, but Hungarian Federation is completely out of this world with their almost unlimited funding resources. So it's easy for them to do it, but you can do it. You just need skates and sticks. Perhaps Aku can help you with getting you into the program where they give away the equipment. Yeah.
I really don't know what else to say, but I think the whole point today also has been that what is the mission and what is the vision. So if you focus on what can we offer to a child with 2 months of ice time, which was then at least a little bit tackled that let's find other facilities and organize activities. But again, maybe the mission or vision is that you have more ice than 4 months, and then again your action plan focuses on those visions. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
You are.
Again, I think what Rok is saying is that you can't be all things to all people. So where is your focus? Is it to get more ice first, and then you start thinking about what to do with kids, or you accept that you only have 2 months to try to come up with that type of model? So it's not the easiest. You know, the situation is not the easiest, but again, I think it's where the focus goes and the energy.
Correct.
We have to work with what we have.
We all have to, for free, in our free time. So hats off to all of you volunteers here, actually taking your time on Friday afternoon to get better at what you do in sports. So if this is it, I would like to thank you again, all of you, for coming. The presentations and the video, they will be posted on hp4p.eu website. If you want to be directly informed about when it will be all available, just subscribe to our newsletter. We will just do a quarterly, so it will be one every 3 months, and there you will get to know what we're doing, how are we proceeding, and we'll also share all these materials with all of you to use in your organizations to grow sports. So thank you.